One of the most peculiar things that I noticed while playing Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I haven't seen discussed all that much, is the very significant amount of Unova representation that's in this game. For a title focused on the Sinnoh region, all of the Unova stuff in this game seems like it's way too significant to be unintentional, which is why in today's video, I wanted to take a look at this strange mystery and see if I can't solve it once and for all. So, have you ever heard that classic saying, you can't solve a Pokemon Legends Arceus mystery on an empty stomach? Well, it's definitely a thing, which is where today's wonderful sponsor, Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. come in. Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. are subscription boxes from Japan that are absolutely packed with goodies and treats straight from Japan. If you're into Japanese culture, then Sakura Co. is the box for you, as it's filled with more traditional Japanese snacks and treats, with the theme for May's box being matcha and mochi. Meanwhile, Tokyo Treat gives you Japanese goodies that I would describe as a little more fun for the general Western American person, because you get stuff like Japanese Kit Kats and Pringles, which by the way are both delicious, and this flavor of Kit Kats are only available for a limited time. The theme for Tokyo Treat's May box is Sakura Picnic, and there are a ton of amazing goodies in here. I also love all of the matcha-based breads, however, from the Sakura Co. box, and matcha honestly is something I never thought I would gain a liking for, but I really enjoy it thanks to these boxes. I've immensely enjoyed both of them, and if either of them seem like something you'd like to try out, you can use the links in the description below along with code HOOPS04 to get $5 off your first box of each. Grab whichever one looks good to you, or just get both. And thank you again to Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. for supporting the channel. So, is there really that much Unova stuff in Legends Arceus to the point where it could potentially mean something more? Well, at least in my opinion, abso-frickin-lutely. To list off just a few examples, Oshawott is a starter in this game, which is obviously significant. You've got two of the ride Pokemon in this game who are Unova-based in Hisuian Braviary and Basculegion. You've got a Unova-based Noble Pokemon in Hisuian Lilligant, a Warden in Leon who is Clay's ancestor, and as if that wasn't enough already, you've also got, of course, Ingo, who plays a significant role in the plot of the game. You've also got Alder, or Alder's ancestor, it's kind of unclear, who is most likely the ancient hero, who is basically the most important figure within the backstory of the entire game, and they even added a new Pokemon to one of Unova's legendary trios in Enamorus, as a new member of the Forces of Nature. Some of this could admittedly just be a coincidence, but collectively, and especially due to the important roles that some of these characters and Pokemon play, there is definitely something more going on here as far as I'm concerned. The question, however, is obviously, what? In this type of situation, your first thought might naturally go towards the idea that this could possibly be foreshadowing a possible black and white remake. But in this particular situation, there is virtually no chance whatsoever that this is the case, because putting a hint towards your next remake in your current remake-ish type game, especially when that next remake is probably like 10 years away, just doesn't make any sense at all. So I think we can rule that out, but if foreshadowing isn't the answer, then what is? The second possibility that all of this Unova representation could have is that it could somehow be lore related. As mentioned, both Ingo and Alder's ancestor are heavily integrated into the story of this game, so there could be some kind of story reason as to why we're seeing all of this Unova stuff. The one issue with this possibility, however, is that it will most likely never be anything more than theoretical. It wasn't really elaborated on too much in terms of how Ingo got to Hisui, for instance, and even less detail was given on Alder, or Alder's ancestor, and their status as the ancient hero. I also mentioned the modern Alder as a possibility here because there have been theories floating around that state that due to various reasons, this character, who is also most likely the ancient hero, could actually be the modern day Alder and not just an ancestor. Whatever the case may be, though, like I said, it's all just theoretical at this point. The only hope we really have in terms of a story explanation for some of these Unova elements being present would have to come in the form of some kind of future update to the game, or DLC, or even another Legends game entirely. And with the impending release of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, much of that is unlikely, or at the very least, is pretty far off. So while this could be explained in-universe somehow, we're probably not going to find out what that definitive answer is anytime soon. However, for every in-universe explanation, there's also a real-world explanation, because, especially in Pokemon's case, the real world is what inspires the very elements of the games themselves, and this is where I believe the answer to this strange mystery truly lies. When you're talking about Pokemon Legends Arceus in any context, it's very important to remember that this game takes heavy inspiration from the real-world Hokkaido region of Japan, which is what Sinnoh and Hisui are based on. When it comes to Hisui in particular, though, it is based on a particular period of time in Hokkaido's history, which took place during the Japanese Meiji Restoration. This is most prominently represented in-game by the region's name, Hisui, originally being Hisui, before being changed to Sinnoh. This parallels real-life Hokkaido, who was once known as Ezochi, or Ezo, before being renamed to Hokkaido during the Meiji Restoration. This particular period of time in Hokkaido's history, which saw Hokkaido begin to modernize into, ultimately, what it is today, serves as inspiration for just about everything in Legends Arceus, so I figured it might also have an answer for all of the Unova stuff that's in the game. Since the Unova region is based on the New York metropolitan area of the United States, I went looking for any connection I could find between Hokkaido, or even just Japan in general, and the US during this time frame, and I found what I believe is the definitive reason why at least some, if not all, of the significant Unova representation in Legends Arceus is actually present. During this period of time when Hokkaido was renamed to Hokkaido and it began to modernize, the Hokkaido Development Commission was established in order to organize the settling and securing of Hokkaido as a region. One of the Development Commission's leaders was a man named Kuroda Kiyotaka, and as a part of his leading of the commission, he traveled to the United States and recruited the help of a man named Horace Caprone. Later, a man named William S. Clark also arrived in Hokkaido from the United States, and founded the Sapporo Agricultural College in the city of Sapporo, which is now known as Hokkaido University, and Sapporo also just so happens to be where Jubilife Village, and of course Jubilife City, is based on. Additionally, the thing that William Clark and Horace Caprone have in common, in addition to both being from the United States and traveling to Hokkaido to help develop it, is their agricultural knowledge that they brought to the area, as not only did Clark found an agricultural college as previously mentioned, but Horace Caprone was also the Commissioner of Agriculture to U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant. Clark in particular, though, made a significant impact on the area, to the point where there are literal statues of this guy in Japan that were erected to honor him and his contributions to Hokkaido. And that amount of significance in the culture and area in general is definitely at least part of the reason why Enamorus exists. Enamorus is part of the forces of nature, which of course come from Unova, just like William Clark came from the United States to Hokkaido. And just like Clark and Caprone's focus on agriculture, Enamorus has a theme of its own that is almost identical. It is known in-game as the God of Spring, and its Pokédex entry says that it gives rise to the budding of fresh life across Hisui, which is exactly what agriculture as a practice entails. So, Enamorus, as a Pokemon that is part of a legendary group from Unova, is most likely at least partially inspired by the work of William S. Clark and Horace Caprone, and their contributions to the development of Hokkaido, which is obviously also the theme of Pokemon Legends Arceus with the Hisui region. And due to the significance of these events within this part of Hokkaido's history, they also most likely inspired the presence of the other major Unova elements as well, in what is obviously otherwise a very Sinnoh-focused game. So, what do you think about this explanation? Do you feel like this solves the mystery of why there is so much Unova stuff in Legends Arceus? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new for more new Pokemon content. As always, I'll be back with another video very soon, and until then, thank you all so much for watching this one. I love you all very much, and I will smell you guys later.